Oh, God.
So,
Any
Coach,
questions for Coach, guys? Go ahead. Sorry.
no worries. You guys picked up first win of the season. Obviously, you guys were pretty close against Cal, I feel like.
Well, let me interrupt you. It was the first win of the season, but it was my 111th win at Cal Poly. And I only need 889 more to get to 1,000 and catch Coach K in Bayheim at one school for 1,000. So we were just talking on the radio. I think if I stay at Cal Poly till I'm 200 years old, I should be able to catch him.
Well, you guys came pretty close to beating the Bears on Sunday. Was there a little bit of angst left over from that close loss that just kind of poured over into tonight?
I think it's an excellent description. The word angst, it was a frustration of how big and strong they were. They kind of beat us up on the boards. They really beat us inside. Mm-hmm. And my message to Hank Hollingsworth and to Carlos and Alex, to Luke was, we need to do to them what Stanford and Cal did to us, which was just impose your size, strength, and girth, and get somebody like Hank to post his first career double-double. And so, he's just a sophomore. He's still, he was able to catch and finish and score some of those buckets. He obviously had a few turnovers while he's still developing that strength to not get that ball taken away. But that's a big, steady progress that he's made from a redshirt year to freshman year to now starting as a sophomore at 6'10" and starting to be able to impose his will a little bit.
I feel like he's got to be a big key to this team going forward, kind of filling in for that role that Zach played last year.
Yeah.
What do you think Hank can build on from this performance tonight against some bigger opponents that he's going to face?
Well, we've got to be able to get him, Carlos, Alex, also just to be able to get a catch and score without having actions from other guys. And sometimes we play inside-out basketball where you get him on a low block cut and be able to score. A lot of his baskets are offensive boards or Donovan's dump downs. You can see the guys are looking for him, which is great. We want them to look for him, but I thought we were sloppy in the second half by overlooking for him. We had 2 or 3 turnovers in transition by trying to throw an alley-oop to Hank, try to get the ball to Hank, try to they get excited that he can get a dunk. We only had, I think we had 10 assists, 4 turnovers in the first half, and then we were sloppy with the basketball the second half by over hanking it. It's like Hank this, Hank that, and we got to take some easy ones.
Marcellus Garrick seems to be playing out of his mind since the season really started. That 4-point play seemed to be a big momentum shifter for you guys. They were kind of neck and neck with you guys until that. Did that swing the momentum towards you guys at all?
Marcellus has been tremendous energy. I mean, as much as his shooting has been obviously you make buckets, you really pleased, but I think he's improving his defense. I think he was a good defensive player, but the difference between where he's at and where we need to go is that each night it might be a different scouting report, whether it's a left-hander or whether we're going to go under the screen or over the screen or here's some of their set plays. He's just learning some of the nuances to scouting report, but he has the number one quality, which is intensity, and number 2, which is skill. He can knock down a shot, handle the ball. He's a tough, competitive kid, but he's adjusting a little bit from the defensive side, and as he continues to get that, I think we just have a great 6th man right now. Brings us instant offense right off the bench.
Just quick question about some injuries. Noticed obviously that Martin wasn't playing tonight, and Pablo was walking around in a boot. What happened with him first off, and then Martin next?
Well, Cruz will redshirt the year. He popped a pretty serious ankle, probably a 2 to 4 weeker. So he's in a boot, and so he's decided he'll redshirt as a transfer this year. And we've also looked at talking to Eric Tolles, and he's going to redshirt this year, just kind of out of the rotation. And Jared Rice, Modesto kid. So those 3 are going to be on our redshirt squad. Will travel with us to the preseason and then lift weights and concentrate on that. Josh Martin had a pretty serious hyperextension in the knee at Cal game. He was able to go back in after he's extended it and run up and down and play pretty well and bounce around, and then it got to halftime, and then the swelling really flared up down at half, and so you just had to look at maybe there was a meniscus tear or something more serious, so did not play in the second half at Cal. Found out it was a serious hyperextension, and it's anywhere from 5 to 15 days, and we hope 2 weeks is the longest it's going to be. We hope 5 days he can maybe get some practices before getting up to Alaska, but won't be available for Santa Clara game, and we'll just be precautionary about it, but not hopefully too long, and don't know how those things go. So meanwhile, we gotta become a better rebounding team. Josh is whether Josh is here or not here, overall, my biggest concern is we have to become a more consistent rebounding team and more consistent at taking care of the ball. We just gave the ball away a few too many times. It allowed them to hang around there in the second half and play even with us for a while. And at Cal, when we made those back-to-back turnovers and transition, Cal capitalized this, a nice little 12-2 run, and went from a 4-point game to a 14-point game. And it was short. It's a 4-minute period of time. Mm-hmm. So I think those are two areas that are major improvements.
Joe, end of the first half, you guys made a pretty sizable run. A lot of that was with Kuba or Mark maybe at the 4.
Yeah.
Pretty quick defensive unit that was out there that was able to kind of get up and down the court. Obviously, this team's not as tall as some other teams you'll play, but is that a unit or a concept that you guys might move?
Yeah, we're fine offensively if we can move Mark or Kuba to the 4 on offense because they're mobile. They can set screens, they can hit threes, they can stretch the court. A little more mobile and active than Luke Meikle is. Where we lose it just on the rebounding side. Still, Kuba's a little thin still. It's just getting him to fight a little bit more on the defensive boards, and then Mark will fight around there, but he doesn't have as much length as maybe he's athletic, but doesn't have that complete length or quickness off the ground as maybe Josh Martin might have. But just overall, we've got to have more guard rebounding and post guys rebounding and just the fundamentals of our block off. And I told our guys that the good news, I know exactly what we need to improve upon. The bad news is I know exactly what we need to improve upon, and those rebounding drills are really, straight out of the Tom Izzo Michigan State playbook, and it's a bloodbath. It's like put your football helmet on, guys. We gotta get much tougher on the boards.
Is that an easy thing to like? I mean, it seems like rebounding's a mentality in a lot of ways.
Well, you can instill drills and you can instill habits, and you can start. We just have to do it more consistently in practice. I've got to emphasize it more in our practice time. We spend a lot of time trying to learn what to do, but now we got to learn to just get to the Cro-Magnon level of coaching, which is see ball, get ball, knock guy in his rear, get ball. I mean, there's a certain part of basketball turns into football, and defense rebounding is part of that. And now taking care of the ball, that's a little more finesse and decision making. But rebounding is just pure toughness a lot of time.
Obviously, come out in a game against a Division II team, really kind of, people say, it's a Division II team. Not always so easy. In this case, you came out and your guys kind of did what they needed to do in the first half, so that guys like Victor and Don, who've been getting 37, 38 minutes in games, only have to play like 23. Has to be nice for you, right, in terms of being able to get other guys in. Lots of rotation. Yeah,
the fact that we had 10 guys in double-figure minutes was critical. I think that, after the weekend, being so early in the year, I think Isaiah needed minutes as a point guard to get out there and find out what's really going on, getting in better shape and understand the speed of the game. I think that was really important. And when we looked at scheduling, we said, okay, we're coming off the road against Stanford and Cal. We got to have a home game to break it up and hopefully, be able to beat a team like them and get some rest and repair ourselves and go through film and really get ready for another war up in the Bay Area. And it's another guarantee game, which means that Santa Clara will not be coming back down here to pay it back. So we get paid to go up there, and then we'll come back late Saturday night and kind of recharge our battery Sunday, and then take off on the road Monday to go to Great Alaska Shootout.
What are you expecting at Santa Clara coming up, and what do you guys need to do? What are going to be some keys for you guys at Santa Clara and then in Alaska?
At this point, I haven't seen any tape on Santa Clara. I just know Coach Sendex is as good as coach there is on the West Coast, if not the nation, when he was at North Carolina State getting multiple teams in the NCAA tournament, at Arizona State with James Harden and get their team, and obviously I've identified talent, recruit talent, get guards to go and give them sets to play well. I know they played Nevada tonight. I don't know how they did as of yet. I haven't got any box scores or anything on that. So we'll get all the tape and we'll start breaking that down. But I think all coaches at this point of the year have the same thing. With all due respect to Santa Clara, I got to worry about Cal Poly. I mean, they're good and he's a great coach, but we've got to take care of our own passing, catching, rebounding, shot selection, and it's still a time of year where it's 90% us. We got to worry about what we do well and try to do that.
I talked to Daxon and Junior this past week,
Right.
2 recruits that you signed. I think you can comment on them now. So
Yeah,
what
I can.
what kind of players are they? What can you talk a little bit about the
I
class?
absolutely love both of them. I think that they both are just grassroots, gritty, hungry, dedicated basketball guys that are good in the classroom and compete. Great teammates. I mean, all the intangibles. I think both of them, I think, understood that a guy like David Nawaba was a 2-star recruit who came to Cal Poly and developed up to the point where he's, at the Chicago Bulls. And I think that's they see that. Junior Ballard has a skill set that will compete for playing time as a freshman. He shoots it. I mean, he has a lot of qualities like Celis. He's strong. He's got good size. He shoots it. He'll drive hard to the hoop. He'll defend. He's physical. He's confident. So he's got a very good chance to compete for playing time as a freshman. And then with Dax, he's 6'7". He's going to get stronger, but depending upon how his body changes, like Mark Crow would step out and shoot a 3, go down, drive it a little bit. You've seen how Mark can defend. Bill Daxon can be that way. Probably a better shooter than Mark. Is right now a better shooter than Mark, but not as physical or laterally as quick. But as he develops as a 6'7" guy, his lateral quickness, his ball handling, a guy that we think can play the 3-4, and whether he gets stronger to play 4 minutes or gets quicker to guard the 3, that's going to be the challenge. But both outstanding kids. Just really pleased with them.
What can you say about your defensive intensity tonight? You held them both from field goal percentage and 3-point percentage under 30%.
Right.
And seemed like you were pressing a little bit too in there at times. So what went into that?
Well, I'm glad you noticed that, because that was probably our number of things that we just want to have to make hard shots. Don't over foul, but contest and make them make difficult shots, which we did. I was really pleased with that. We just didn't rebound it afterwards, and so that's where the frustration game was. That maybe our guys were surprised that we played good defense and that they missed, and so I think that's the next step for us, is to play that kind of defense that is good and solid and contesting, and the team misses, and then reward. That's my point, was that we need to reward ourselves with good defense with the ball, and then we need to reward ourselves with good offense without the turnover in the second half. And so we play good defense, finally get a rebound, go transition and give it back away. That's the part that we can see in mid-November that's got to be cleaned up. When you go up to Santa Clara, you go on the road where you got a lot of road games, and playing against the well-coached, organized teams, you just can't give it away and win.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Coach.